ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the corner lane ceremony of the Wild Cereal Gene Bank, generously supported by Sir Mick and Lady Davis and Professor Alpha Tauber of the Laszlo and Tauber Family Foundation. Due to windy conditions, we had to move the ceremony partially indoors. My name is Rina Buginski-Pikel, and I'm a PhD candidate at the Faculty of Law. The University of Haifa has been my second home for the past decade. I was born in Moscow and raised right here in Haifa. After spending my childhood looking up the mountain at the impressive Eshkol building, the choice to get my academic education here at the university was an easy one. I am also a proud mother of two perfect kids, Tamal, 4.5, and Do, 1.5, and I am excited and humbled by the opportunity to pursue my passion every day. I will share about my research in a moment. However, let me begin by saying that it is far removed from the subject matter for which we are gathered here today. This is a testament of the broad range this university offers. The subject of my research is sexuality and disability in Israeli law, towards an affirmative conception of the right to sexuality. My dissertation supervisor is my personal mentor, Dr. Sagit Mol. The research examines the perception of sexuality and disability prevalent in Israeli society and their manifestation in the law. My research explores the status and content of sexuality as a human right. My goal is to construct a new understanding of the right to sexuality for people with disabilities in accordance with a socio-critical approach to disability and sexuality, and to suggest an outline for implementing this understanding in Israeli law. A great deal has been spoken over recent years about the importance of genome mapping and preservation of wild cereals, as they are the key to solving some of the dire problems humans will face in coming years, especially regarding nutrition and the availability of food sources. The facility we are laying a cornerstone for today will be the home to collections that will undoubtedly unlock the mysteries of these species and help in solving some of these burning issues. It is my pleasure to call Professor Ido Yitzhaki, the Vice President and Dean of Research, to the podium.
Thank you. Dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good afternoon. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome you today to the Cornerstone event of our gene bank. Israel is home to some of the richest plant and genetic diversity in the world and is characterized by a high presence of crop wild relatives. The Wild Cereal Gene Bank, administered by the University of Haifa for more than 40 years, preserves the gene pools of regional cereal species for the benefit of current and future economic and agricultural development. Conserving plant resources for future agriculture, biotechnology, and biomedical development is critical. Israel, with some of the most important global genetic resources, must preserve its genetic assets to secure its own economic and scientific future and that of the world. The Wild Cereal Gene Bank collection harbors a rich genetic diversity, especially a large collection of wild emmer wheat and wild barley genotype that can serve as an important gene pool for crop improvement to fight against the predicted world hunger. The Gene Bank promotes research to establish and maintain genetic pools, to identify important features that can benefit humankind and the environment, and to cooperate nationally and internationally on the operation of gene banks, the conservation of seeds, and genetic variants. Our gene bank was established by Professor Ebi Nebo of the Institute of Evolution more than 40 years ago. So first of all, let me thank Professor Nebo for his vision and great contribution, not only to the collection, but also to the cereal research altogether. I would like to thank the team of the Institute of Evolution that leads the current research and maintenance of the gene bank. Dr. Tamar Kurman, Professor Tzion Fahima, Professor Abraham Korol, Dr. Tamar Kis-Papo, Dr. Alex Ba'arav, and Sued Khalifa. Thanks to the generosity of Professor Tauber, director of the Laszlo N. Tauber Family Foundation, and Sir Mick Davis, with the help of the Israel Science Foundation and the British Friends of the University, represented here by Miss Cherry Torrens. We are now building a state-of-the-art gene bank facilities where the valuable collection of wild wheat and barley and other species will be maintained. And last but not least, I would like to thank the administration, construction and maintenance staff of our university who helps us to make the dream come true. This include Nabi Amar, Daphna Shachar, Alex Landau, Majed Mari, and also people from the Research Authority, Shoshi Tzalka, Chantal Asher, and Mor Zaks. All of them are from the Research Authority. I wish you best of luck and great success.
Thank you, Professor Itzhaki. I now invite to the podium Professor Zion Fahima, Director of the Institute of Evolution and the Head of the Laboratory of Plant Genomics, to say a few words.
Okay, why we gathered here today? We have a collection of different wild cereals, which the wild cereal gene bank was established by Professor Eliatar Nevo more than 40 years ago. And until nowadays we keep collecting. We keep collecting mainly from Israel, wild wheat, wild barley, wild oat, and so on. The most important species is wild wheat. Wild wheat. Why wild wheat? Wild wheat is the progenitor of cultivated wheat. Wheat is one of the most important crops, food crops around the world. It is providing 25% of the calories and 25% of the proteins in human consumption. Did you know that wheat is providing more proteins in human diet than meat? I think you didn't know that, but this is the importance of wheat. Some people talk about the problems with some wheat proteins, glutenins, gliadins, and so on. But only 1% of the population is sensitive to wheat proteins. 99% feed on it. It is providing food for 25% of humanity. Without it, 2 billion people will suffer hunger. At the moment, demand for wheat is just increasing every year. Production is increasing. More than 750 million tons is produced in the world each year. And it is expecting that by the year 2050, we'll have 10 billion people on Earth. In order to provide enough food for them, we need to increase wheat production by 2% per year. At the moment, we increase only at the rate of 1% per year. This is not enough to avoid food crisis and hunger. The only way to increase wheat yields is by genetic improvement. At the moment, all the genetic diversity that was present in the gene pool of cultivated wheat was exhausted. We need to go back to the wild, to the progenitors of wheat, and bring new genes, new alleles to improve cultivated wheat. And this was the vision of Abi Nevo 40 years ago, before there was a food crisis. This was the vision of Aaron Aronson 100 years ago, before when only 2 billion people were on Earth. His vision was to use those wild species in order to improve cultivated wheat. He wrote in his book that we need to use these wild species in order to produce a little more bread for a little less cost in places where production is impossible now. This was the vision of Aaron Aronson. And only now, 100 years later, we can materialize this vision, because only now we have the tools. We have the genomic tools that allow us to use wild material for improvement of cultivated wheat. But we are not only collecting seeds, we have 18,000 samples of wild wheat, wild barley, wild oat in our collection that were stored under horrible conditions. And now we'll have new facilities with the help of the generous donation to store them, to maintain them, but to study them. This is the most important. This is not a collection of stumps. These are living materials that we are going to use to improve cultivated wheat. We are using also for theoretical studies, for evolutionary studies, population genetic studies, host-parasite coevolution studies, and we identify resistant genes which help us to protect wheat field against diseases, to reduce the cost of production, and to protect the environment. Because if we use less pesticide, we avoid the contamination of the environment with toxic material. This wild cereal gene bank was used as the main facility for the research studies of many MSc students, PhD and postdocs. Some of them are serving as academic staff in universities in Israel, in China, in other places in the world, in other research institutes. During the last 40 years, we published 320 papers coming out of this gene bank alone. 320 papers, some of them in high impact journals, 12 of them in the publishing houses of Nature and Science, the top journals in the world. This is an example of excellent example how we can gain scientific excellence and retain international reputation. Our gene bank is serving as the basis for many grant proposals. We attract grant money that help us to support the students and publish a paper every year. Shoshi can testify. Due to rapid urbanization and fires in Israel, we estimate that 50% of wild emer wheat populations in Israel, not only wild emer wheat, but also wild barley and other, were destroyed during the last 50 years only. In our gene bank, we have seeds of those accessions, genotypes, that you cannot find them in nature anymore, only in our gene bank. This is a treasure. This is a treasure of the state of Israel, a treasure for the world. Our gene bank is listed as one of the 100 most important scientific infrastructures in Israel. I mean, we have a lot of honor, but the state of Israel is not supporting us. University of Haifa is supporting us. The Board of Governors is supporting us. We got now the donation to build these facilities. Israeli Academy of Science is supporting us. I would like to thank Sir Mick Davis and Lady Barbara, Professor Alfred Tauber, and for the generous donation that helped us to build these facilities. This story started 10 years ago when Professor Tauber came to me and wanted to know about the gene bank, and we went together and visited Arbel Mountain and Galilee and Hermon Mountain and showed him in nature where those wild wheat populations are growing. And he was very excited and he wanted to help us. It took some time. Later on, the friends of the university in London helped us continuously, Jerry and Sir Walter Goldman. And they tried for many years. But this is also an example for how to raise donation. Researchers must be involved in getting donations. We went to London, me and Tammy Krugman. We met with Jerry, and we went to meet Sir Mick Davis. Sir Mick Davis, he's in the board of the Kew Gardens. So he understood immediately the importance of the scientific importance, and not only scientific importance. As Aronson said, wild weeds have not only scientific importance, economic importance, agricultural importance, but also social importance. Because if it will help us to avoid food crisis, it will help us to avoid wars. The Arab Spring, what we had recent years around us, was not because people wanted democracy. The people in the square in Egypt, in Cairo, they didn't shout, "We want democracy." They were shouting, "We want bread." They didn't have what to eat. This is why they had these political problems in Egypt and in Libya and in Syria now and so on, because people didn't have enough to eat. And this is what is expecting us if we will not increase the yields of wheat. So we went to London, we met with Sir Nick Davis. He was convinced, he was happy to donate, but he said he wanted a match. Later on, Professor Tauber joined him with a match. And then Ron Rubin went to London and closed the deal. And now, this is why we are here now, celebrating the building of the new construction. I would like to thank all of those which were involved. It already provided us the long list. I've been involved for establishing these facilities, this gene bank, Tamar Kugman, the curator of the gene bank. And especially I would like to thank Baruch Marsan, Vice President, for his support along the way, and all the people in the construction and maintenance units of the university. The end of the story was there was not enough in the donation. We needed equipment for these facilities. So we wrote 2 grants to the Israel Academy of Science. The donation was enough for the building, but we need to put facilities inside. We wrote 2 grants to Israeli Academy of Science, and we got 2 grants with the help of Shoshi Tzalka and the people in the Research Authority to buy the equipment to fill in, to build labs, and all the equipment that we need for these facilities. And for that, I would like to thank the people of the Research Authority and Shoshi Tzalka and Shontal Asher, and the Israel Academy of Science for providing the support, and Professor Ido Yitzhaki for his support since he came to position. He's supporting us, the Institute of Evolution and the Gene Bank. Thank you very much. Here's a little present for Professor Tauber. This is from the trip 10 years ago in the Hermon Mountain in the Galilee. I would like to call Cherry. Cohen, please. Cherry was just wonderful. Every year she is coming to the Board of Governors, she coming to us and said, "Oh, I will talk to this, I talk to that, I'm trying to get for you donation." Okay, the years passed and still we didn't get in 1 year. She said, "Come to London immediately." We were in the conference in the United States, we came to London and we got the donation.
Thank you, Professor Shachim. I have the pleasure of calling Professor Tauber to the podium.
It's a real pleasure to be here and to see the fruits of our labors, your labors, our money. Much easier to give the money than to do the work. The story actually begins, with Evie. Evie and I have a common friend, Eshel Ben Jacob, who introduced me to Evie around 2006, 5 or thereabouts. And of course, he showed me the Institute of Evolution. And we went to the storeroom, which is a euphemism, I think, for where you kept the seeds. And I looked at this facility, and I was shocked. I had this vision of rodents, mice, and rats, and whatever else, eating through these envelopes of these seeds which had been painfully collected over many decades. And I thought to myself, oi, what's going to happen to these seeds? And that's how, in fact, you and I went to the Galilee on our trip, which was very impressive. I want to also say something about fundraising and how important it is, as Tion said, that researchers get involved with the governors, with other donors in a face-to-face, one-on-one, passionate discussion about their work. Because I think anyone who hears someone who's totally enveloped in their research, who is sincere about the work, and not so much about themselves, but the research itself, has to be impressed. And it is the sincerity of your scientific personalities which were most impressive to me. And then, of course, the question of the gene bank. I mean, it's absolutely critical. It sells itself. So Mick Davis could not be here today. I don't know if you know, but he's very much involved in conservative politics, party politics in England. He's one of the Gedolim there. And as you know, what's going on in England is a little bit chaotic. So he's not here. So I'm speaking on behalf of myself, our foundation, and of course Mick and his wife, that we're most pleased and gratified that this project is finally being completed. I should say initiated, but I assume it's Israel will be completed, and it's going to be a wonderful addition to the University of Haifa. So kol hakavod and toda raba.
Thank you, Professor Gaubel. I kindly ask that Ms. Cherry Torrance of our British friends come to the podium to speak on behalf of Sir and Lady Davis.
When Sir Mick and Lady Barbara came to London from South Africa, they embraced Britishness and Anglo-Jewry from that special perspective of South Africa, which believes in Israel and Zionism with an informed intellectualism. And they took to Anglo-Jewish life with a fervour, Mick taking on the chairmanship of the UJIA, and his special focus was the north of Israel, because previously everybody had been focused on the Negev. So the north was his mission. He and Lady Barbara have a home in Caesarea. When he stepped down from the chairmanship of the UJIA, it seemed almost natural that we would take hold of him, grasp him, to join the Board of Governors of Haifa University. And Fred was the most wonderful associate. I can't describe the role he had in persuading Sir Mick to join us. Shortly afterwards, we realized that he was Sir Mick was giving to the Royal Botanical Gardens at Kew. Note, I say royal. We still have a monarchy. I don't know whether we still have a government. But the point about Kew Gardens is that they have a seed repository, a unique seed repository at Wakehurst, which I think partly inspired Mick to give for this particular project. So that was all part of the process. Sion and Tammy were amazing when we went to see Sir Mick. They presented with complete articulacy, and Mick asked a lot of questions which they satisfactorily answered. So that was a great experience to work with researchers. I think Mick would have been thrilled today to hear President Oliver. He has a repugnance, of course, of apartheid and social injustice, and to have heard somebody like President Oliver would have been a real inspiration for him. And I take home those words because Sion and Tanu worked very much at the University of East Anglia, the John Innes Institute, and I actually heard Sion lecture there. And it's a wonderful collaboration, and we have to promote much more, in these days of BDS, we have to promote collaboration on projects which have global import, as Sion has said. So I take home this very positive message, and it's really been a privilege to be involved and to meet the originator, Professor Nico. You know, it wouldn't have started without you, and we have to carry on and make it a triumph in your name.
Thank you for your kind words. At this point, we will go outside for the burial of the capsule ceremony. I kindly request that Professor Semchim, Dr. Kamal Krugman, the curator of the Wild Cereal Gene Bank at the Institute of Evolution, join us, as well as Professor Tauber and Sherry Torrance, who will be representing Sir Mick and Lady Davis, who were unable to attend. And of course, everyone is welcome to join us.